We're joined now by John Allen, editor at Crux, who's covered Cardinal Pell at length. Hi, John.
Hi, Christine.
So, John, you knew the Cardinal personally. What will you remember most about him?
So much, Christine. I mean, part of the nature of my job is spending a lot of time around cardinals. And in general, they tend to be careful, cautious. Not the kind of person who sort of wears their heart in their sleeve, who sort of lets it all hang out. And in that sometimes gray universe, George Pell was like a bright, shining light. He was shoot from the hip. He was big, brash, loud. He was not shy about voicing his opinions. He had a wicked sense of humor. You always knew where you stood with George Pell. That was George Pell in a nutshell. I mean, he was a one-of-a-kind figure, Christine.
All right, and Cardinal Pell did a lot to reform the Vatican's finances, but after the sex abuse convictions, which were overturned, do you think that will now end up being his legacy?
Well, I think inevitably it's going to be difficult to remember George Pell without doing it in part through the lens of the clerical abuse scandals. That's in part, of course, because of accusations that as the Archbishop of both Melbourne and Sydney in the 90s and 2000s, he mishandled some cases of clerical abuse involving priests who were under his authority, and then also because he himself personally was accused of abuse, tried, convicted, and then eventually exonerated by Australia's High Court. He still is a lightning rod in that area. Some see him as the public face of the church's denial and cover-up. Others see him as an innocent victim who was prosecuted unjustly and sort of turned into a scapegoat. But his legacy, I think, as important as the sex abuse piece is, his legacy is much bigger than that, Christine. I mean, for more than 4 decades, there simply wasn't a single important issue in the life of the Catholic Church in which George Pell was not a protagonist. I think he was the field general in some ways of the more conservative or traditional wing of the Catholic Church, especially in the English-speaking world. And in that role, he is not going to be easy to replace.
All right, going back to the sex abuse charges, though, Cardinal Pell always adamantly insisted that he was innocent. Did that send a message maybe to other priests to fight back and not let false accusations, ruin their lives?
I do think that emboldened a lot of priests who felt they had been unjustly accused to mount a stronger defense. Because let's face it, the sad reality is that the Catholic Church swung from a situation that lasted for far too long, in which victims were dismissed and never believed, to a new climate almost overnight, in which if a cleric was accused, there was an almost automatic presumption of guilt. That where's there smoke, there had to be fire. And of course, inevitably, in an environment like that, there are going to be cases in which someone is unjustly accused. And I think for such people, George Pell has become a symbol of how if you insist on your defense strongly enough and coherently enough, you can eventually persuade people of its truth.
All right, John Allen, editor of Crux, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.